If you're trying to open or scale a med spa, a peptide clinic, or a wellness business in 2026, the number one thing standing between you and doing it is funding. A small med spa with 1 or 2 treatment rooms can cost between $200,000 and $350,000 before you see your first client. And that's before payroll, supplies, and marketing. Most people in this space are highly skilled, but nobody teaches you how to fund it. Most med spas take between 6 to 12 months to hit even stability. Run out of cash in month 4, and it doesn't matter how skilled you are. I'm gonna break down every funding option for wellness businesses right now. Option 1, personal savings and bootstrapping. This is where you fund the business yourself, which keeps you in full control, but most people run out of money before the business even gets started. You do stay in full control with no partners and no investors, but even a small med spa needs $40,000 to $70,000 in equipment alone, if not more. And you end up spending all or most of your savings getting everything built out, getting all the tables, getting lasers if you're doing lasers. There's several different ways and several different options when it comes to med spas, and all of that equipment is highly expensive. You can make a lot of money on the services, but the problem is most people aren't even getting there before they run out of money. And I know this because I get a lot of clients who are 50 to 70% of the way done of opening their med spa, and they've ran out of their own money and their personal credit is tapped and they don't even know what to do. So that's when they're coming to us. And then that's not even counting payroll and supplies and peptides or GLPs or whatever else you're planning to sell. Option 2 is equipment financing. This is when a lender pays for the equipment and you pay them back over time, but it only covers the device and nothing else in the business. Now, this can be beneficial if you're in the laser type business, whether that's laser hair removals, tattoo removals, cool sculpting, or any of the other fancy lasers that are out there. And I can recommend at times to get equipment financing as long as the terms are okay. This cuts a lot of the upfront cost, and typically the laser can pay for itself. Some of the rates are between 6 to 15%, just depending on what that company that you're buying the laser from offers. And sometimes you can even find third-party equipment financing at a better rate with better terms. Just remember, it only pays for the specific equipment that you're buying, not the staff to run it, and not the payroll or any of the marketing for that device. Option 3. SBA loans. This is a government-backed loan that gives you the large sum of money up front with a decent interest rate with decent terms most of the time. However, most businesses don't qualify and the process does take months. Now, if you are opening a high-end med spa business, I do recommend starting with an SBA loan for the initial build out costs. If you're leasing a space, a retail space, there's gonna be construction build out costs. Sometimes the commercial space will cover a portion of the build out, but then you're responsible for the other portion. You want your place to be nice. You want people to come back and people to feel like that is, their getaway, their home away from home, that they're getting a top-notch service. So you're gonna wanna spend the money to make it appear as such. And with a medical background, whether you're a nurse, a PA, an NP, a doctor of some sort, a lot of times the SBA will look favorably on you and you can get the SBA loan. They even have fast track SBA loans specifically for this. So this can be a great option for the initial build out and startup costs, but then you're still gonna need operating capital and cash for marketing and everything else to get the business actually running. So SBA is great for the initial startup, but then there's additional funding that should be paired with it to actually run and operate the business. In most cases, if all your T's and I's are dotted and you have decent credit and decent history, then you can get this done, in under 90 days. Option 4, investor or partnership. This is someone who gives you the money to start up the business in exchange for owning a piece of it, which gives you the capital to start up the business, which solves your capital problem, but it means you're giving up a piece of the business before it's even started. So a partner is often a doctor. They put in the capital, but then now you're sharing the business with them. This can be beneficial when done right and everything's laid out of what each person's responsibilities are written in an operating agreement. I recommend doing this with an attorney that specializes in these types of operating agreements. So that way later on down the road, you don't feel like you're doing all the work and you're making all the money. And then this other partner, this silent partner, is getting 30 to 50% of your business and they're just really never there. That's never fun. So create the right type of operating agreement so it's laid out what everybody's going to do. And if they don't do that, then there's clear written next steps to potentially get them out of the business. Now, partnerships can be great when you have two people who are really working the same amount and working just as hard to get this business going and getting them off the ground, then it can turn out good. You just have to pick the right partner. This is somebody that you're marrying in business for the long run. So the right partner can make or break you, so choose wisely and have everything documented legally. Option 5, 0% interest business credit. This is the option that most med spa and wellness business owners have never even heard of. And it gets you the most money the fastest without giving up ownership or paying interest while you're just getting started. You can get anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000, $200,000 in 0% interest business credit. The 0% interest is on average up to 12 months. So you have the whole first year of not paying high interest payments. However, there are some qualifications. Now, while other loans are primarily based off of your business history, the 0% business credit is based off of your personal credit profile. You do need a 700 or higher credit score, preferably over $20,000 in personal credit card limits with no late payments, collections, negatives, any bad history on your profile to get the most amount of money. Also, the banks do want to see each one of your personal credit cards below 30% utilization. Again, most of the clients that we see have higher utilization because they've already started using their own money and their own credit to get this thing going. However, we have options to help you bring down all of your utilization so that way we can get you qualified for the high limit business credit cards. You can have this money in your hand in as little as 2 to 4 weeks, given what we need to do for you in optimization. And you have the full year to invest in marketing, order all your supplies, order things in bulk at a discount rate before interest even becomes a factor. Now, my personal recommendation, if you're opening from scratch a clinic like this, I recommend pairing the SBA loan for all the initial build up, startup costs and everything with the 0% credit, because the 0% credit is what you're going to use to actually operate and scale throughout that whole first year. SBA gets you started, gets you the entire build out, the signage, everything you need with inside the clinic to make it nice and even hire your first few people to work with you. And then the 0% credit takes care of all the day-to-day operations, the CRM costs, the marketing costs, the website build out, any AI integrations you want to have in the business, filming, ads, everything to actually get this running and get your programs running. So if this is you and you're planning to start or you even want to scale up an existing med spa, click the link below to book a discovery call with my team. We'll do a no hard inquiry pre-qualification on the call to see what you actually qualify for. It's free to check, doesn't hurt anything. The link is in the description.